What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bulletproof Business. This is your host, James P. Friel, and I am thrilled that you guys are here with me here today. So today's topic that I want to talk to you about is something that can be a little bit scary. In fact, this idea was inspired by somebody who posted in the community recently saying, you know what, I've got somebody on my team, and I think I need to let them go. And so if you've ever found yourself in a situation where you had somebody on your team and you needed to let them go, then today I'm going to talk to you about what you need to be thinking about, how you need to have that conversation, and give you a strategy that's really going to help you not only do the right thing for your business, but also do the right thing for them. I think one of the things that's super important when you do have to let somebody go is that you remember to be a good human. Right? You don't have to be angry at somebody. You don't have to be upset. This doesn't have to turn into a confrontation. And so I want to get into this with you guys today. So drop me a comment below if you've ever had to let somebody go. If you have somebody on your team right now that you know you should let go, but you're super uncomfortable to do that. And so what we're going to talk about today is really like having a reset button for your team. And so this sort of started for me understanding how to do this really long time ago. I was actually in sixth grade, and no, I wasn't running a team in sixth grade, and I didn't actually fire anybody in sixth grade. But I remember like it was yesterday. Actually, my mom picked me up from school. Usually I drove the bus home, and my mom picked me up from school, and we went to this place, to get some groceries and things like that. She parked the car, she turned off the car, and I was like, "Hey, why aren't we getting out?" And she looked at me and she's like, "So I've got some news that I got to share with you." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Your dad lost his job." And I was like, "What? What does that even mean?" And my dad had a good job. He worked a lot, and we had a pretty good life at that point, and I didn't know what it meant. And she's like, "Well, we don't really know exactly what's going to happen either." And but what I remember was feeling really sad. And then I talked to my dad, and he was just kind of really broken up about the whole thing, because he'd worked for this company for 20 plus years, and they let him go and really didn't even give him an explanation. They didn't treat him very well on the way out, and it was a layoff thing. It wasn't even a kind of a performance thing. And so I just remember that sticking with me, and our lives changed in a pretty significant way. At that point, went from being very comfortable to really having, struggle and figure out where money was coming from and all that sort of thing. And so fast forward to my corporate career, and I have a big team working for me. And I had, probably 60, 65, 70 people, across the globe, 5 different countries, 3 continents, like all this sort of thing. And I was like, man, this is amazing. I got a big team. I'm climbing the corporate ladder. Everything's good. And then I got a message that we had to let some people go. I was like, man, this is a real buzzkill. I don't want to fire anybody. It's not my idea to fire anybody. And so our upper management said we had to pick 5 people, and we had to, out of this whole team, we had to pick 5 people, and we had to let them go. So, myself and my other managers, we made a list, and there was one guy that I was like, we do not need to let that guy go. Like, we should let these 3 or 4 other people go before we should let this guy go. And I got outvoted, and everyone's like, Mike's got to go. And I was like, oh man, I don't want Mike to go. And Mike reported to me. So it was my job to fire Mike. And so everybody suggested, well, just, I worked from home in Florida. Mike worked out of a big office up in Buffalo, New York, and it was the winter time. And everybody said, just call him up, just on the phone. You got a script, and you don't need to worry about it. Just read the script over the phone, then everything will be done. And I couldn't get myself to do it. And I was just like, I don't want Mike to feel the way that my dad felt when my dad was let go. And I don't think that feels right. Like, I feel like Mike has been a valuable member of the team. He's produced a lot of good things. And just because we're letting him go doesn't mean we should stop acting like we care. And so in the middle of winter, I said, you know what? I'm going to fly up to Buffalo from Florida. And it was snowing in Buffalo. It was an absolutely disgusting day. If you've ever been to Buffalo in the winter, it's like the last place that you actually want to be, unless you like building igloos and living in them. And so I got up to Buffalo, got into the building, rode the elevator up to where Mike was sitting, went up to his cubicle, and he's not expecting me, right? He's not expecting me at all. And he looks up at me and he says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I said, "Mike, I got to talk to you. I need you to come downstairs with me," because we had to go down a couple flights of stairs. And the HR people are waiting there. I had to bring him into a conference room, and I'm supposed to deliver this speech to him about how we're making changes and he's impacted, and we got to let him go. And so Mike says, "Okay, well, I'll come with you." So now you can imagine Mike's already stressed out. I've never ever in my life fired anybody up until this point. And I'm nervous, right? I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have fired somebody and you're kind of nervous to do it, or you haven't fired somebody and you're nervous to do it, right? Like that's how I felt at that point. And so we get out into the elevator bank. We're ready to go down the couple levels down, and we're sitting there talking. I'm trying to make small talk. He's uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. So of course I ask, "Hey, well, so how you been?" And he looks at me. And I couldn't have been prepared for what he said. He said, "Well, truth is, things haven't been going very well. My wife lost her job 2 weeks ago, and we have no idea what we're going to do." I was like, "You have got to be kidding me." Like, of all the timing and unfortunate things. So here I am now feeling even worse because now I'm getting into an elevator with a guy who his wife just lost their job. He's got a couple kids at home. So we get off the elevator. Now we go into the room. HR's there. Mike really is like, "What's happening?" So we sit down. I read the script to him. It was, "Hey, due to these kind of things, we got to let you go." And, blah, blah, blah. Really short, sweet, to the point. I put the paper down and I said, "Mike, there's something that I need to tell you. This is off script. Like, this is off the record. There's one reason that I flew up here today. And the reason is this. Because I need to look you in the eye and tell you, one, that I appreciate you. I appreciate you as a person. I appreciate the contribution that you have made. And despite the fact that circumstances are changing, like we can't change the fact that things are changing right now, but they are. Like they're changing. But I want you to know that I have full belief that if you quickly accept this change and you take your talents and you take your skills and the things that you're good at and your passion for everything that you enjoy doing, and you go out into the world, like I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, you are going to find something where you are a good fit. You're going to find something where you can thrive. You're going to find something where you can crush it. And clearly, because all of this is happening, this journey here is over. But this is not a bad thing unless you choose to see it that way. This is the time for you to get up, to go out and to double down on your strengths and to find something that you're amazing at. And so that's why I want to be here. Mike's crying, right? It's only happened to me a few times to be in a meeting, a business meeting with a grown man crying across the table from me. This is one of those times. And I was just like, "Man, let me know how you make out." And I mean that. And I mean that like on a personal level. So then Mike gets, escorted out of the building with the box, the whole thing by security. It's just completely sad. I missed my flight home because the weather's so bad. I spend the rest of the afternoon sitting in the Buffalo airport, just like letting this sort of situation just, kind of like wash over me. I'm like, I just, delivered a message that's going to completely change the course of this guy's career. And I hope he takes the message that I gave him to heart. So long story short, 7 months later, Mike sends me an email out of nowhere. I didn't ever know if I was going to hear from him again. I didn't know if he hated me. I didn't know what he thought as he left that room. Sends me an email, says, "James, I just want you to know that within like a month or 2 months or something of that conversation that we had, because of what you told me, I had a confidence in my ability. I went out. I found another job that was paying me 20% more on my salary. And I I have been so grateful to you this entire time for everything that you shared with me, because that made all of the difference. And I'm not normally a very emotional guy. When I read that email, that got me emotional, because I realized that standing by my conviction of letting somebody go, letting them go with dignity, letting them go with purpose, strengthening the relationship, even on the way out the door, was the right thing to do. It was the human thing to do. And it's good business to do it like that. And so that situation shaped how I have handled these situations ever since. Because I'd love to tell you that was the last time I ever had to do it. But if you're running a business, you know very well that you're going to have to let people go on a regular basis sometimes. And hopefully that isn't, you're the norm, but you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in these situations. And so the framework that I want to share with you guys is right here. Hopefully I can share this with you. So there's a matrix, okay? And on one side, we've got willing, and on the other side, I'm all backwards here. We've got able, okay? And down here, we've got unwilling and unable. And up here, we've got willing and able. Sorry, it's hard for me to do that with the camera. So on one side, you've got willing. The other side, you've got able, okay? And I want to break this down for you, because this framework is extremely powerful in how you have challenging, difficult conversations that could result in creating a performance plan and seeing if somebody's okay to stay, or having the conversation where you both agree that it's time for them to leave. So we'll break this down. Willingness is, do I want to do the job, right? Am I excited about it? Am I passionate about our mission? Do I fit in? Is this the place that I want to be, right? Then ability is, can I do the job? Do I actually have the skills to do the job? Do I have the training? Do I have the experience? Do I have the background? All of those things. And so we sit down with whoever it is and say, okay, we've got this matrix. Where do you find yourself? Are you willing but unable? Right? There's a lot of people that might fall into that category, right? You might hire somebody who's like, oh my God, I'm so excited to work here. So excited to work with you. I can't tell you how much I'm thrilled to be here. And then you ask them to go do something. You give them, their project and their outcome, and they just totally fall flat, right? That's somebody who is willing, but they're unable. And then on the other side, you might have somebody who is unwilling, but able. And these people pop up all the time too. It could be for a variety of different reasons, right? They have the ability to do the job, but they just sit there with their arms crossed, they dig their heels in, and they don't do it. Now, neither of these situations means that we have bad people, right? I think that concept of thinking about, we have these, bad employees and we have good employees, bad people that work for us, good people that work for us. I think that's kind of, I think that's a very, very overly generalized term, and we shouldn't use those. I think it's much better if we look at things with a more precise view. Are they willing, or are they able? Are they unwilling? Are they unable? And so this matrix allows us to plot people on that plane. And then when we have the conversation, we can ask them, explain, like you can literally sit down with people, sketch this out on a sheet of paper, and you could say, where are you? Where do you think you are? Are you willing? Are you able? Are you unwilling? Are you unable? And people 9 times out of 10 will tell you where they think you are, where they think they are. And your goal is to get all of your people to be willing and able. And those are what I call A players. Okay, the people on the sides, the unwilling and ables, and the unables and willings, those are C players. And we don't have time for C players. And the unwilling and unable, we certainly don't want those people on our team at all. Okay, so we've got A players, C players, and F players. F players go right out the door with compassion in a way that I'm going to share with you in a minute. C players, it's a different conversation. If they're unable, is it a matter of training? Is it a matter of time? Is it a matter of making things clear for them? If they're unwilling, what's stopping them from being willing? Is it a personal situation at home? Is it a personal situation at work? Do they not like the way that the company is moving, the pivots, the directions, all of that stuff? That's the conversation to have with those people. In either case, with the C players, our goal should be to create a performance plan to get them to A. And that performance plan, depending on the severity of the situation, how long it's been going on, might be shorter or longer. And our goal is to get them to A players. And it could be, it's like this is a super severe thing that should be really easy to fix. And if you can't fix it within 2 days, then we got to talk and you're going to be gone, right? Or it could be the 30-day thing, or it could be longer. And so we have these time frames. And as the owner of the business, it's your job to identify how quickly do you believe that this person should be able to be willing and able before they've demonstrated that they're not the right person for that role. Okay. And that's the key thing that we've got to keep in mind here. So after we put the performance plan in place, then if they hit the performance plan and they're willing and able, that's amazing. We've now managed somebody to be a high performer, and we've got to maintain the standard and keep them there. But let's say in the situation that they don't hit the goal, they aren't able to achieve that level of performance, now we have to let them go. Okay? And this should not come as a surprise to anybody. Once you've had this conversation and once you've put a performance plan in place, whether it's long or short or anywhere in between, if the outcomes from the performance plan are not met, now we're going to sit down again and we're going to say, look, let's just be real with each other. We sat down 30 days ago and we had a conversation and put a performance plan in place that was designed to get you into this top right quadrant of being willing and able, and it hasn't happened, right? Would you agree with that? And they're like, you're being real with them. They're going to most likely be real with you. Chances are really good they're going to be real with you, and they'll be like, yeah, I don't know, why it didn't happen. And this is where you have to like put on your big boy pants, and you got to make the best decision, not only for your company, but you got to make the best decision for them. If somebody is not able to be willing and able to do the job that you have for them, then why on earth would that person want to spend their life doing something that they suck at? Nobody wants to spend their life doing something that they suck at, and you should not keep them there, even if they think they need to stay, because it's not right. One of my favorite quotes is from Einstein. He said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will grow up its entire life thinking that it's stupid. And if somebody is not willing and able to do their job, that means, one, that there is something else out there that is a much better fit for them. And two, there is someone else out there that's a much better fit for you. And so by not stepping up and holding the line on having everybody willing and able, you're robbing them of an opportunity to work somewhere else, doing something else where they can be willing and able and an A player. And you're robbing yourself and your business of an opportunity to have that A player in-house. And so the conversation becomes not, do I like you? Not, are you a bad person, a good person? I'm uncomfortable, you're uncomfortable. It becomes one of, are we the best fit for each other? And if you can't get them to that willing and able box after the performance plan, then you're not the best fit for each other. So be real about that and let them go with dignity. And the way that I phrase this conversation is, look, this doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means you're not the right fit for this role, right? And if I had something where I thought they might be a good fit, I might try them out. But if I don't, then it's not the right fit. And my job as a CEO is to make sure that we are allocating our resources for maximum return. And if you're not the right fit and I don't do anything about it, then I'm not doing my job, and I'm letting the rest of the team down. I'm letting our customers down. I'm letting myself down, and I'm also letting you down. And I can't stand for that, because my job is to rise above and hold a higher standard. And so I am here to hold the line. I'm here to tell you that just because you're not the right fit here does not mean that you're a reject. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. It simply means that this isn't a good fit. And I will support you in your journey on finding what you are a good fit at. And I mean that. Like, if I have to let somebody go and it's on terms like this where they haven't done anything, stealing or anything like that, I will do what I can to help them. And I think you should too, right? We're in the business of relationships, no matter what happens, whether it's with our customers, it's with the people that are working for us. And so I'm going to say, hey, I got this person. she wasn't a very good fit here, or he wasn't very good at doing this, but I think that they might be a good fit with this. Would you like to talk to them? Right? Framing the conversation with honesty, not trying to pass somebody off to somebody else, but saying, hey, this is where they weren't a good fit, but if I had a role like this, they might be a good fit. And maybe or maybe not, there'll be those opportunities. But the point of this is, make this about whether the person is willing and able, have the conversation about that, take the conversation away from something that can be personal, and show them how there's hope for something to be a better fit. So I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. I know this is something that many of the entrepreneurs and CEOs and business owners that I work with struggle with this because they let their personal feelings get in the way. And I understand those personal feelings. I understand, I told you guys, a story with my dad losing his job. I told you the story of when I had to go up to Buffalo and let Mike go, right? I understand all those personal feelings, but your personal feelings should not stand in the way of you doing what's right for you, for your business, for the people that work for you, and even the ones that are going out the door. So I hope this is helpful. If you guys want some, want to go deeper on this, want additional help on this, like this is from my Hiring Like a Boss program, and we've got a bonus module in there, Firing Like a Boss, and we cover this also in Managing Like a Boss. You can find all those things on jamespfriel.com. So if you want to dig into this deeper, those are great resources to do it. I hope this has been really valuable for you today. If you guys have been here with me live, I'd love to know, just hashtag live. And if you're watching this on the replay, hashtag replay. Thank you guys for being part of the community, and I will talk to you soon. Later.